Yep.
Guys, I'm back here with Tadlock, man, William Tadlock, and you ever wondered what a vet is? I asked that, like, the first question is, what is a veterinarian? Why do they exist? Clearly there's pets, there's animals and livestock. Who were the original vets? Be it that didn't exist, you know, we were chasing a bunch of cows and bulls and trying to feed our families, you know, clearly doing Puritans and all that other stuff. But, you know, what is a vet, man?
Vet is just doctor of veterinary medicine. And so essentially think about your MD, your DO, your family doctor, or just that for pets.
Yeah.
Pets, livestock, any animal out there. You got your snake vets. You got
They have snake vets.
Yeah, it's your exotic vets. You got mixed animal vets, large animal, small animal, specialists. I mean, you got radiologists. You've got dentists. You've got orthopedic surgeons. I mean, we can go down the list. But you've got oncologists
For animals and pets. Jesus Christ. So do dogs, do they get like stage 4 cancer, or is it just like cancer, they're dead?
I don't know that we stage it quite the same. Just because I personally don't fully understand the staging on the human side.
Yeah.
It's just, all right, let's say we diagnose osteosarcoma or bone cancer. What can we do? Are we going to amputate the leg? Are we going to amputate and send them to an oncologist for some radiation therapy stuff? Are we gonna do nothing and just keep them comfortable until we make a decision?
Yeah.
Or lymphoma, the best treatment is going to be sent to an oncologist for chemo. So it's just, I think it varies, and the animal cancers aren't as treatable per se, like the nasty malignant ones as the human cancers are.
So let's say like a dog gets pancreatic cancer, it doesn't have a definitive process yet.
Not that I know of.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. So, and then go ahead and tell me, man, what made you become a vet of all things? I mean, you told me you grew up around livestock, but you could have been a doctor of anything. Why stinky animals, man?
I don't know if I have a good answer. Like most other vets, almost every other vet I know is like, well, I grew up, I wanted to do it. My parents told me I wanted to do it since I was 5, or it wasn't me. I mean, Dad went to Naval Academy. I fully planned on going kind of the same route, go to West Point or go to Naval Academy or whatever, go the military route, then figure it out after that. It got down to high school, showing livestock, competing in some of the FFA events, and I was like, I think I'm smart enough. Let's try it.
And that was it, huh?
That was it. Made it happen.
And so how have you been liking it, man?
I love it.
Really?
Yeah, I love it.
Well, and so what about it do you love then? Because, you know, it's like let's see what happens versus I got to do this.
I think a lot of people's answer is they love helping the pets.
Yeah.
Which is the most important part. But I think people also have to realize you're helping the pet owner.
Yeah.
I mean, if the pet's comfortable, the pet owner's comfortable, it's a perfect match. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you can keep everybody comfortable, make everybody understand, it's super enjoyable.
And from a vet standpoint then, what's the hardest thing you think it is for a pet parent, pet owner, pet lover that you solve for? You know, it's like, oh, I got to really help this person out. What's most of the time the issue per se?
Bad news. Breaking that bad news. I mean, whether I'm breaking it or you're receiving it, I mean, that's the hardest thing ever. It don't even matter what the bad news is in life. Nobody ever wants to hear it.
And is there anything that could, I won't say better prepare them? I mean, the dog market, and I think even the animal world, is like this exclusive, secret, crazy stuff's happening. Oh, wow, I got this, you know, they're selling tiny cows now. Mm-hmm. It's just, what in the world is happening? And it's collectively over all things. And even I heard a guy say, Trev, you know, the tiny cows are ending up at the shelter too, because they didn't know what they were doing or getting involved in. But when you look at the people who are starting out, trying to get some it almost seems fictitious when you like, where'd you get this dog from? Like, there's no ads for it. Nobody's running. I mean, they back in the day it'd be in the paper a little bit, but like, dude on the side of the road selling puppies out of his truck.
They've got a kennel at the Walmart door.
Yeah.
A homeless guy needed money, so he sold the dog. Or, I mean, I think everybody's read the story about Stallone, Rocky.
What happened? I don't.
He had this dog and he went homeless. I guess after his wife kicked him out, or they got divorced, or something like that. But he needed
the real Rocky Balboa.
The Rocky. The movie, what, Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah. I'm about to say
And,
Sly. I don't think Sly been homeless. Like
he sold his dog. He needed money so bad. He sold his dog for, I think, $25.
Oh my.
Somebody took him, cared for him and everything, and then he wrote the script for Rocky 1, sold it, went and bought his dog back
Oh my.
when he had the money.
That dog is leverage, huh?
And he had to buy him back for a pretty penny, too.
Of course he did. Guy's like, oh no, buddy, you're not broke anymore, man. Gotta come back and look broke still, huh?
Yep.
So, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but, are there things that make vets good and bad? And if you don't mind, what does that look like? And I think, in my opinion, in my personal experience, there have been good and bad doctors.
Sure.
And sometimes it's the people who are uninformed about something, and then there's the people that care. Then there are people that are doing their job. Then there are people like you who said, I don't like the good or bad news on either side. I don't want to share it, but I got to tell it, and I don't feel good about doing it, but it's got to be done. But are there good and bad vets?
Oh, yeah, and I'm not one to, throw anybody under the bus, because, you've probably seen in comments and stuff, I know everybody has that, let's say I misdiagnose something, and they go to another vet for another opinion, well then the social media comments is going to be tearing me up. Just how could he, this, that, and the other. It's nasty. So the pet parents or just the community is just tearing veterinarians apart. We're in it for money or whatever it is, just tearing us apart. So for me, standing behind another veterinarian is better than bashing one, because we're already getting torn apart. I'm not going to be part of the problem personally. I may not like a certain individual, but that's just that's where it dies. But I think the biggest good versus bad is communication. Can you deliver good news, let alone bad news? Did the owner understand? Are you using high dollar words?
Yeah.
Or are you breaking it down to first grade level so that everybody understands? I think that's the biggest good versus bad, just communication. Me, I'll be the first to admit I don't know everything, not even close. But am I going to go research it? Absolutely, I'm going to get you the answer.
So what would you say then is one of the best things a vet can do for, said customer coming in? Because originally they become a customer, they started as a customer, and then they kind of become a consumer. And I know that there's a few vets that back in the day, when you find a good one, man, you're like, God, I like this job. And so it's really goes back to what we talked about, I think even off camera, the power of customer service. And I agree 100% that that communication, it really, it's like words. They're empowering, soothing, or they're condemning.
100%. We've talked a lot about it off camera.
Yeah. So you go.
Just about different communities, let alone just individual stuff.
Man,
it's brutal. It's brutal.
It'll tear you to pieces. So when you're looking for, even a good vet, is we kind of addressed it before, but I'm going down this social media rabbit hole, trying to find information and the professionals that are talking about and see if some of our things align, and how potentially looking for that one doctor I can work with to change the world. And some of them, I don't want to say feel disingenuous, but you go, okay, what are we doing here? We're doing this on social media, or we're actually trying to help people.
Right.
And it's like you said, say a bunch of stuff that no one understands, or we're going to empower those to really go out and do their best, because a lot of people get a dog and don't know what they're getting involved in.
100%.
Especially if they get the breeds that we have, you go, man, how do I solve this problem? I said, you should ask your breeder. But they don't do that either. So when we look at the vets, I'm going to say, should people say, hey, why did you become a vet? Is that a good question to ask their vet?
I don't think it's a bad one. I don't know if it's one that matters. Personally, everybody's curious. Curiosity is going to kill every cat out there. I don't know if it matters.
Yeah.
Personally, are you good or are you not? Do you care? Do you not?
That's the key word, is care. Okay. That's the key word, is care. So when they come in here and they're experiencing, and when you put this together, what are the things you look for in staff to make sure that they exemplify kind of what you care about and how you're going to build a community around this facility?
I think the first thing is just compassion. Go back to the care part. They've got to care. They almost have to care a little more than me, because they questionably spend more time with the client and the pet than I do.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if you go to the doctor, you're spending most of your time with the nurse the doctor a little bit, in the grand scheme of everything, whatever a little bit means. Is that a couple minutes? Is it a lot longer because you're hospitalized or whatever? But the nurse is your caretaker. At the end of the day, your doctor's diagnosing and prescribing. So they need to care a lot. If they're lacking in a skill, I can make that up. I can teach that, or maybe one has the skill and they can teach the other the skill, and vice versa.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is compassion.
That's good. That's food for thought. And I think sometimes, I've gone in places and you experience the front desk and you say, I don't want to come back here. The irony is you go back and you meet the doctor. Oh, the doctor's not bad, but I don't want to deal with the people at the front.
That front desk, I mean, we preach it. We had a staff meeting 2 days ago, and we're saying, hey, you are the first and the last person they see. You got to have a smile. I don't care if you're having a bad day. Don't let them know. I mean, you make or break it. I can break it faster, but if you're in a bad headspace, or you're having a bad attitude, or you're saying rude things on the phone, they will never come back or even give us a try.
And what's the disconnect, do you think, with vets in communication at times? And to framing it, a lot of times really wealthy people lack charisma, character, and other things, so they'll go back and write these self-help books on what you need to do, because they go, wow, I had all this information, all this education, I was really good at pounding the pavement sales, but I wasn't the best leader. And that took everything that the school doesn't teach you.
100%.
And you go, so when you're like leading the staff, working with the staff, and even more importantly, potentially working with other fellow vets, where do you think the disconnect is? Because, I mean, some of these people straight up message me and say, can you call me real quick? I was like, my man, I'm not calling. Literally, bro, I'm not giving you my number. You call me every time something's going on. I said, what can I do though? Oh man, my dog is, scratching his ear too much. Hey, it's got a hot spot. What is this? You go, bro, just do this. You can use athlete foot spray. I got this. I've learned a lot of like home remedy type stuff.
Sure.
But I do feel, based on even my own experience, that I wouldn't say I was misinformed. I just don't know if I had all the information.
Sure.
When I went to a vet and maybe asked, hey, how to solve a problem. So if you could, or if you thought about it, what are some things that you may recommend other vets do to solve that problem? Be it, guy comes in with a dog, he has no clues. He don't even fucking know his dog.
Yeah.
That's the fact. Like, what? I don't even know what's going on with it. And dogs don't speak English.
Yeah. I think it just starts with, let's say, start at a puppy or a kitten, whatever it may be. Do they understand why they need vaccines? Do they understand the vaccines that they need? What do those vaccines do? It's like if you have a child, I mean, I'm going through it right now. All right, well, we gave the rotavirus vaccine. We gave Tdap or DTaP, whatever they're calling it now, the tetanus, whatever the rest stands for, drawing blank right now. But do you understand why you're given that? Because now the anti-vax, human and pet, is a thing. Just because it came out with the COVID vaccine. Like, we didn't trust that vaccine was a good vaccine, whatever your belief on, doesn't matter. But that's kind of translated into the pet world now of, well, I don't want to give my dog the parvo vaccine. He'll just make it. Like, not likely.
Parvo's very serious, and I think we're definitely going to tap into that one quite a bit, because I've had quite a few people ask me questions and I don't know the answers to them all. I told Chris, I said, I'm never gonna get the Plums book and dive into the medicine world. And I think one of the first times you go to the vet and you try to solve a problem and they can't solve it, you go, fuck, I'm gonna have to read about medicine. And again, I don't know if this is miscommunication or how much money I had to give, but you go, I don't feel like they knew. And so if you could package then, what is it that you're actually learning at school? And then what do you think you need to continue learning post-school? Because when a vet, clearly you've been very upfront and honest and, hey, I don't fucking know everything, but I'm willing to learn. There are some that lean in, and then as you talk about the mixed diagnosis, man, that's bad. That's really bad on the human side. Mm-hmm. Like, imagine not knowing you had whatever cancer because you got a flu, and then boom, you're dead because they was like, oh, it's just this. Let's take these pills.
Just a bellyache.
And that bellyache was fucking liver cancer or some shit.
Right.
You go, oh, you're fucked. You're fucked, my friend. But like, what is it that you guys are actually learning in school? What's like the emphasis on?
Everything. Yeah. The big difference, like if we just go over a couple, like you're learning surgery, you're learning histology, immunology, parasitology, like your hookworms, your roundworms, all that fun stuff. Internal medicine, diagnostic imaging, so radiology, ultrasound, CT, MRI. You're learning all of it, and you get to about here, and you've got to put all this together after school. And the big difference between human medicine and vet medicine in terms of school is human medicine learns one species, so they could probably learn more about humans.
Intake is a little bit more direct.
We're learning canine, feline, equine, bovine, caprine. I mean, we're learning all of it. We're learning exotics. We had an exotic class. So we're learning a lot of species. And it's like me, I don't do exotics. It's not fair for me to do exotics for that animal. I mean, it's not fair for me to do it.
Are your snakes and stuff?
Yeah, I won't touch snake anyways, but those pocket pets, it's not fair for me.
Oh, man.
It's like, did I take a class? Yes. Do I know anything? Minimal. Minimal. So
in this case, then, it sounds like it varies based on one's level of interest and what intrigues
100%.
them. So you take it all, but it's like, oh, I really like this. I'm going to put an emphasis.
Yeah. It's like theriogenology was a big class. That's repro.
Oh.
I have friends that are only repro vets now. I mean, that's all they do. Now me, I'll do repro along with all the others. So that's another specialist, theriogenologist. It's like you said, interest. Where is your interest? Because after school, you can then go do an internship to focus down one pathway, and you can also go after that do a residency to become board certified in one little area.
Yeah. Interesting. That makes sense then, because everybody's, depending on what they're exposed to, it gets their, tickles their tuna per se. That's the one thing they're going to remember the most even. And they're going to put the other stuff to the side. So, should they lean in kind of with that? Because then you go, I get so many messages, man. And I don't know if it's a good thing. I'm like, look, guys, I'm not a doctor. I say that all the time. I talk about behavior. I tell them I'm not a behaviorist. I just manage my dog. I have to get them all to play and all this other stuff. It's go, I just know how to do it, man. Yeah. I know. I can tell you our process is extensive.
Some of us, everybody has a natural born skill.
Uh-huh.
What is it?
And what would you say yours is?
I think it's kind of this. I've always kind of had a knack for it. And I don't know if it's fair or not, but I played sports growing up. I was good, but it just fizzled out.
Yeah.
Books kind of took over.
You started enjoying the information and applying it.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And what sports did you play? Baseball?
Soccer.
Oh, man.
A little bit of football.
There you go. I was
a runner.
Man, I could never play soccer.
I fizzled out of football real quick because I didn't like getting hit. I didn't mind hitting. I hated getting hit.
Man, that's awful, isn't it, man? I said, why was this sport makes no sense. I couldn't do this.
Being a receiver and getting hit when you didn't know somebody was there, it's not very fun for me.
But it doesn't look fun for those guys either. You go, oh, that was a bad thing. It's like, God bless him, man. Because you see how someone will get hit so hard it just goes stiff. You go, I could never do that, man.
Mm-mm.
It was, the funny thing is, too, is I'm big for no reason. So I said, man, what sports you play? So I played a couple things. My dad made me read a lot, man. I said, this is genetic. This is a genetic defect, bro. We were bred to be like this. I said,
what a bummer.
I know. That's a bummer.
You got guys like me that can't do nothing. Can't build anything.
And you go, man, I've been in the gym, didn't work that way. I'm like, that's funny, man. Well, and that kind of gives perspective, man. Is there anything you think we're missing? Because when we look at a vet, like you said, you guys get the good, the bad, the ugly, and now because of social media, Yelp, Google reviews, you can get fucking destroyed.
You gotta worry, did I say something wrong in that room? If I did, they left angry, are they gonna blast me?
And those things, they matter to people.
Where are they going to blast me? Yeah. Are they doing it everywhere? Are they doing it on a Facebook group? Is it going on Google? And now my star rating went into the trash. It's a real worry.
One bad rating to drop you to a 4.5 if you were all 5s.
Yeah.
2 or 3, you'd be at that 3.5, and then people...
Then all of a sudden, nobody wants to come see you.
Not only that, because unfortunately, there have been people who've experienced the actual, whatever they may have drawn up. They're like, oh, I've dealt with that before. I'm never going to that place.
Yep.
And you go, that's just not what happened. But you never know where someone's head's at that day anyway.
It's like there's two stories to everything.
And then the truth, right?
And then the truth. I mean.
So the hardest part then about being a vet is nowadays what, dealing with the comments or what exactly?
I think it's everybody. I don't want to say has a vendetta.
Ooh.
But everybody has something to say.
Yeah.
And it just, what is it that they want to say?
I can see that though. I can see that it almost feels like people are out there, because I get a lot of hate. I mean, I've gotten a message where dudes like, all your dogs are skinny and trash, you fucking suck, and you go to his page, and for one, it's private. If you're on social media, don't be private if you got something to say. Second, I'll screenshot and share it. I said, guys, I always enjoy these pests. I said, because it's a reminder that I wasn't doing a few in the first place. And you brought up MLK the other day. It's funny because I used a quote he has, and he just said, I decided to stick with love because hate is too great of a burden to bear. So I said, guys, no matter, I told everybody, I said, I can take it because I could give a shit less.
Not everybody can. I mean, it breaks people
to pieces, man.
I mean, you think about, and we think about what we talked about earlier in terms of veterinarians. I mean, we're the scapegoat for everything. Yeah. So why would we hate on another one? If it just go down a super dark path of hate and whatnot. I mean, veterinarians have one of the highest suicide rates.
Really?
So, oh yeah, out of all professions. We were number one for a long time. I think we dropped to 2, maybe 3 recently. But it's because of, I mean, everybody's got something to say. Are you going to let it break you?
I thought dentists were number 1.
They were, and they may be back.
They may be back. I don't know if that's a good thing though, right?
It's not a good thing. Nobody wants to be number 1.
So you think because of social media, the vets are killing themselves more?
100%. And a lot of it, if you forget about social media, is, let's say, one of the hardest jobs is, all right, you went to this room that they're so excited, they got a new puppy, they got a new kitten, they're overjoyous, and then your next room is euthanasia, that they're crying. Then you got to go back to a brand new puppy. They're so excited. I mean, you talk about an emotional roller coaster.
Oh my gosh.
So I think that hurts a lot of people. I mean, it's not the easiest thing in the world.
I did not know that vets were suicidal. Learn something new every day.
I've been fortunate so far to not know one that has, but I have worked with some colleagues that their classmates did. I mean, and we were 3 years out of school and they're done. And that hurts.
Yeah.
It's real. I mean, we had in school, when we were about to start our first year, the counselors came and talked to us about all of it. It was like, hey, if you need help, please get it. I mean, because it's so real.
Hey, man. I didn't think about that, man. Well, that paints an even more vivid picture. Well, I definitely hope that we can continue to highlight. Look, as I told people before, one of my goals eventually was to connect with someone I can learn with and grow with on the veterinarian side, and tie both this whole wellness type thing into solving problems. It's kind of like I was in church once when I was a kid, and someone didn't take their diabetes medication, type 1 diabetic. Was like, I'm just going to trust in the Lord. And the preacher got up there because they had to call the ambulance. He said, listen, God is good, but if you need your medicine, take your medication.
Please take your meds. I mean, God is great, but...
Goodness gracious, man.
You gotta help yourself a little bit.
You gotta help yourself. He give you the wisdom to do right, but type 1 diabetes is irreversible, people. Type 2, you can swing it back a little bit, but once you have 1, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
That lack of insulin will kill you.
That's not funny, but it's kind of funny.
I mean,
So a vet, should be someone who cares about making sure that the improving the patient outcome, making sure the experience is good, and you get into it in your case because you care for animals, I presume, and then you want to make sure that people get the best care possible. And I don't know that that's again cohesive, but we're not here to talk about what they're not doing. So when they come here, guys, Live Well Pet Animal Hospital, right?
Live Well Animal Hospital.
There you go. Live Well Animal. I'm gonna get it right. Live Well Animal Hospital. in Frisco, Texas. Tadlock's going to help educate us quite a bit on some things. We're going to go through the dental stuff. I'm going to bring the general in here, man. You can see my little Jack Russell. You see it on there. He sits on my shoulder, man. I taught him to sit on my shoulder everywhere. I can run up and down the stairs. The other dogs, I had him at a Jack Russell event. It throws people off. They're like, my dog be losing his shit. I said, I understand terriers. We got a bond. If I didn't find a way to calm him down, if he gets on the ground, he's gone. He's on a mission. But if I put him on my shoulder, he'll just lay down and relax. I gotta get him to calm down, man. That fucker's charged up. Well, again, I just wanted to talk to get a vet's perspective. And mind you, this is one perspective in which I think we can maybe motivate others, even with ones that are like, oh, I appreciate that truth, because suicide is a real thing. And one of the number one killers of kids between 12 and 18 is suicide. And that always troubled me, because I too I used to work in the schools back in Overland Park, and basically 2 girls killed themselves in 48 hours. One friend pulled the trigger and shot herself, the other one the next day because she lost her friend, walked in front of a train. That takes a level of I don't want to say courage, but
it's
more than I'll
it's a
ever
mental
have.
health disease. I mean, you're not in the right space. I don't matter who, are you a vet, are you a dentist, are you a high school kid? I mean,
That's frightening, man.
mental health is
It's a real thing.
it's a real thing.
I don't know if we figured it out yet.
I don't think we have. I think we're trying more than we ever have. I mean, think about, let's say when our parents were growing up, it was, hey, just forget about your emotions.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. And now it's, I'm getting my kid a counselor, or we're gonna focus on this. We're gonna get help. I think we've learned from the bad. Thankfully.
The really bad, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's the scary part too, because I think even when you start talking about putting it somewhere and getting over it, and then you look at, hey, you're a man, you get punched in the face, get the fuck up and shut up.
Yep.
That whole nother,
That's dirt on it.
Man, that's a whole nother thing, man. But at any who, look, please always thank you for your time and energy as we try to build a brighter future for both vets and pet parents.